Kat Lehto, and I'm being interviewed by KeithAndrewNetwork. And he is an amazing guy and a great interviewer, and I can't wait to show you guys what's up.
Hello, everyone. This is Sasha, also known as MindSet Antidote. Definitely want to give a shout out to Keith Andrews. He is doing an amazing job at getting his message out there. If you have a disability, I promise you, you can do anything that you set your mind to. And if you don't believe that, look at Keith as an example. He's doing an amazing job at setting his mind to something and achieving and smashing his goals. So thank you so much, Keith Andrews, for everything that you do. We appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and we have a special double interview for episode 51 of season 12, episode 51. And here's two great guests. As you know, when this person was on before, she was at number 50, but she was so wonderful, we had to have her back again for 51. And we have our new guest, the cat. It's a real honor and privilege. So with that being said, I will ask a question, then you guys can interact with each other. It's about networking and coming together. So the first subject I want to talk to Sasha about is the pandemic. How has the pandemic impacted your life? And do you see things in a different point of view?
Yes. So, in my personal opinion, the pandemic for me personally was a beautiful experience. It really caused me to go inward and kind of do a lot of self-reflection over how I want my future to look, as well as how my present currently looks and the things that I need to eliminate now. Outside of that, like, of course, like, it was a very sad situation. A lot of people lost their lives within the pandemic. So I am very extremely sorry for that. But as far as like my personal experience with the virus, I had it 3 times. But outside of getting it 3 different times in that experience of having COVID-19 3 different times, but outside of that experience, I thoroughly enjoyed like the time that I had to kind of sit and self-reflect and not have to go to work and kind of have everyone taking care of me, if you will, for a little bit. So
Yeah, absolutely. And Kat, what about you? How has the pandemic impacted your life? And do you see things in a different point of view?
Absolutely. With the pandemic, with so many people, perishing and passing away and getting sick with the virus, it's definitely humbled me. And I'm very thankful to have not gotten the virus. And although I have had some family members pass away from it, I'm just grateful for everybody who's still alive. And I'm glad that we were able to get it under control with the vaccines.
Oh, absolutely. So the next subject I want to talk to you guys about, well, actually, next question, Kat, I want to ask you is tell our audience a little. I did it in reverse. I asked a hard-hitting question where I sort of started with the icebreakers, but here we do things differently. Hand on the show, disabilities. So, Kat, the question I want to ask you is tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
All right, so I'm Kat Lehto. I'm 35 years old. In terms of entertainment, I've pretty much done everything. I graduated UCR with a major in theater. I've been in several plays and several movies, TV shows, stuff like that. I've also done a lot of behind the camera work more recently since I've gotten older and I'm just not really feeling in front of the camera as much as I used to. So I'm behind the camera, whether I'm shooting, I'm editing, I'm directing, I'm producing, and I do a lot of my own movies and my own films now.
No, wonderful. And Sasha, same exact question for you.
yeah, so my name is Sasha. I'm 30 years old and I am a mindset coach. I basically teach people how to reprogram their subconscious mind, as well as teaching them manifestation so that they're able to get their desired realities as quick as possible. And that's pretty much what I do. That's where I spend the vast majority of my time. My degree is actually in communications with a minor in psychology. So I went to school for that. And I kind of ventured off and went into like mindset coaching after a few therapy sessions or years of therapy. Actually, I was in therapy for about 4 years. And then after that, I kind of discovered that I like the idea of like mindset coaching and healing people. So that's where I kind of wanted to go.
No, absolutely. You're an inspiration. And as for people know, today is Thursday and it's Peacock night. Thousands of great shows available on Peacock, available on Apple TV and all medias. But the question I want to ask Kat and for you, Sasha, is what is some of your favorite shows you like watching on Peacock? And Kat, we're going to start off with you.
I like Psych. Sean and Gus, I am in love with Gus. I just find him hilarious. My sister really likes Sean, but I'm like, no, Gus is a smart one. He's got a good job. He's a pharmaceutical. I'm gonna marry that man. I'm after him.
What about you, Sasha?
So in all honesty, I do not subscribe to Peacock. I mostly watch Netflix and Hulu, but I do watch Peacock movies when I do get a chance to. So
Well,
but outside of that, I actually don't really watch them very often.
while we're on that subject, Netflix, I apologize.
On Netflix, yeah. So currently I'm kind of like rewatching How to Get Away with Murder. Absolutely in love with it. But if you haven't heard of the show Your Honor, that's a really good show as well. So I just finished that one. So
What about you, Kat? Do you watch Netflix?
I do, and I really like Viola Davis. I believe Woman King is also on Netflix. I remember seeing it in theaters, but I really like that. Excuse me if I'm saying her name wrong. Viola Davis.
I think
Davis?
it's Viola. Yeah, I think it's pronounced that way. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, it
Or
sounds.
Viola. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Wrong. I was like, I think I'm saying her name wrong, but she's awesome. I really loved her in Woman King. I watched that in theaters, and I was just like, oh my God, blown away. That was just such an amazing movie. I've seen it a couple of times, I believe, on Netflix, but in theaters. I have to tell you, I'm a big theater person. I like to watch stuff in theaters. You got that big screen TV, surround sounds. I'm sitting there with my overpriced popcorn and drink. I'm enjoying myself.
Well, with that being said, did you guys get the chance to see this year's best movie? Well, hopefully it is. It is #1 in the box office. You may know what I'm talking about, but for me, it is the best movie of 2024. I'm talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, available in all movie theaters. Have you guys ever seen it? And so
I know, but I need to go.
Not yet.
I said, okay, I'm guilty. I've seen bits and pieces of it on YouTube, but I would really like to sit there and watch the actual film instead of watching short snippets.
Yes, yes. I heard from a friend that it was a really good movie. I actually never heard of the movie ever until my friend had told me about it. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go see it.
Hands down, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. I guess if someone said to me if I have a man crush, and I'm like, well, I don't really, I'm straight, but I don't really have a man crush. But if I had a man crush, it would be Hugh Jackman.
Very handsome guy.
Very nice. I would love to meet him one day. I didn't know that when he was in England, he was actually a PE teacher. So it's really funny. The video I saw earlier today, he was on the red carpet, and the guy interviewing him was a student of him. And he's like, "Oh, are you still into fitness?" And it's really funny because it doesn't matter how you say you're from this country, you're from that country, you climb that ladder, you go up, you go down, you're gonna meet the same people. And I talk with my hands. You're gonna meet the same people going up as you do coming back down. And it really is a small world.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon the pun, but
Exactly.
But the other thing I want to promote is for you guys, if you guys I can speak. Do you guys like WWE?
No, I don't even watch it.
What about you, Kat?
I watched it when I was younger, but all the greats are no longer there. We've got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is now a movie star, so love him. But I definitely am waiting for Moana 2, so we can have a comeback for Maui, the god.
It's funny you mentioned. Oh, Sasha, go ahead. Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, which one of us?
Oh, you were gonna say something, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with her that I totally agree. Like The Rock is extremely handsome, and we hope he comes back for a part two.
There's actually a rumor that they're doing a live action Moana movie.
Ooh,
That
Really?
should be
I
really
have heard
interesting.
that. Yeah.
I've not
I
heard that, but
heard
I'm
that.
excited.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's better than the Dumbo movie. That was a freaking disaster.
Mhm.
I did not see it.
No, that
People,
was sad. Dumbo, you just go there and you just be looking at sad, abused circus animal. No,
I wanted
it
to
was just
see
sad. I felt like it was a documentary. I was like, no, this is just sad.
I wanted to see it, for the pink elephant scene. Of course, they messed that up. I wanted to see the pyramid of elephants. That was my favorite scene out of the whole film. They didn't even do that. So don't waste your time. My honest opinion, don't waste your time with Dumbo. If you want to see a good movie, Jungle Book, hands down. That's the live action one was really amazing.
Yes, I heard that. I heard that it was a really good movie.
Usually when you do live act, well, Kat, let me ask you this question because you're an actress. When you do live action movies, it's usually a hit and miss. So would you agree?
When you're doing remakes of Disney classics, absolutely a hit and miss. I have never been in a Disney classic movie. I wish I was, but it's definitely hit and miss. I don't know if you guys remember Mulan. It wasn't that long enough, but I know there was just so much controversy around Mulan where it was just insane. I definitely, I'm going to be honest, I like the movie, but I don't got no shirtless man that she falls in love with singing a song. I'm going to make a man out of you. So I wanted to see that. I will admit, I wanted to see that. I was like, okay, we going to see some good guy. He going to be singing. Let's get down to business. You know what I mean? Dark side.
Yes.
And then it didn't happen. I was like, okay. And none of the guys, to me personally, look like that big, strong, buff guy that I was looking forward to in the cartoon. Okay, I had a childhood crush, and I was going
Me
to live
too.
that crush, and it didn't happen. So I was like, oh, I don't know about this. So that was just me where I would have liked the shirtless man.
Do you imagine if that was the name of the movie, The Shirtless Man?
I'd watch it.
But the next one I want to ask about, it's really, if you do it right, what's funny about you're talking about this movie is when I first started my talk show in 2013, when I got on my own freaking way, I did it over multiple times. But the guests I interviewed, I said, wouldn't it be nice to have an Asian star being the main star? And we talked about this back in 2013. And of course, I was excited for the movie to come out, but then it was like, oh, we're gonna have shit, what's her name? That's not her name, by the way. Shit's what's her name. Scarlett Johansson was supposed to be the main star. And like, I like her, but she's not Asian. If you're going to do a movie right, then do it right. I always wanted to see a black Annie or an Asian Annie, the same story, the same exact thing, word from word. But when Annie came out, it was like, okay, yes, it wasn't meant for me, but it was a disaster. If you followed the same exact formula as the classic one, when people would say, okay, you just changed, not to be racist or anything, you changed the white person to the black person, but it's the same story. I would watch it
Mhm.
regardless. I don't give a shit. And sorry, uncensored. I don't give a shit. I would see it, but if you take something like Dumbo and mess it up, it's kind of like, yeah, it is because it's the name, but it's at the end, it's really not the same. Do you guys, let me ask you this question, Sasha. Was there a movie that you were looking forward to seeing, but you knew in the back of your mind, it's like, I'm hoping it's great, but I know they're gonna screw it up somehow.
I feel like anytime they try to add a second part to something, I feel like it always kind of like ruins it. It's like I don't know what it is about doing a part two where people just kind of can't pull it together, or like the storyline just isn't as good as the original storyline. Besides, like, probably, like, since we're talking about Disney movies, Princess Diaries 2. That was amazing. And Princess Diaries 3. I'm not gonna lie, they knew how to keep it going. Same thing with like The Lion King. I feel like The Lion King did a great job at like kind of continuing on that story, as well as like, giving Simba his own show, and then giving, Simba's daughter, I think, her own show. So
Yeah.
they did like a good job at like continuing on like the storyline. But not too many people can like pull it together with part two. I feel like every movie I've watched, for the most part, it can't come together for part two. Shrek was good too. I did a report on Shrek in college, and part 2, 1, and 3 were all amazing. So
What about you, Kat?
I definitely agree. I loved part two of The Lion King, where we had Kira and Kovu, and then we had Scar's family. I thought that was great. In terms of making a film into a live action, I did not like Lion King live action. I felt like, your dad died, and that little digitally animated cub did not look very sad. So,
it didn't give
I
the same emotion that originally it gave. Yeah, I would agree.
And they didn't use.
I wanted it to be more like, I feel like I've seen where people have kind of like done it again, not like again to that level, but like scenes, and they've like made their eyes more animated. Like they made the cub's eyes of Simba bigger, because when you had Jonathan Taylor Thomas, also one of my crushes from Tim the Tool Man Taylor. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember him. Was it
I
Tool
grew up
Time?
to
I
it.
not remember the title. Is it Tool Time? That was the show.
Oh yeah, Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Thank you. Home Improvement. He was just everybody's crush at the time.
Mhm.
I feel like everybody loved him. If they had him come back and voice again and made the eyes a little bit more animated, I think I would have really enjoyed it a lot more.
The one movie I do like, but there's a scene that I like to skip because I know, okay, well, they're not certain parts, it's not a real animal, but when you see it as a kid, it's like, oh no. Do you guys ever see Homer Bound?
Yes, I love
No.
both the first one and the second one. Oh, Shadow, 100%. That poor dog. He's so selfless.
But there's a scene where the cat falls in the river and she's trying to go like, help me. And I hate this freaking scene. I hate it. Where's the fast forward button? But of course, it wasn't a real cat. But when you're 6 or 7 years old, it's like freaking dramatizing. Speaking of
Mhm.
dramatizing, and then we can go to the next subject. We can come back for this quick commercial break. Just gonna sound like an oxymoron, but you guys seen Bambi, right? And
Yes.
what was the scene, the deal in that one part of the movie where the tape would break, where Bambi's running through the woods and it's on fire, and the VHS tape, I don't know what happens on DVD, the VHS tape would break and that image would be burnt onto the screen, and it doesn't matter if you inject it from the DVD player VCR, the image was still there. I'm like, holy shit, is this haunted?
What?
I,
How did
I,
that happen?
I have no idea.
That sounds intense.
But we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about social media when we come back. We're back from the quick commercial break. The next subject we're going to talk about is social media. Kat, with everything that you accomplish in your life, in your acting career, do you feel that social media can make you or break you? And has it helped you?
Social media can definitely make you or break you. So, although I am not internet famous, I definitely know a lot of people who have become famous with social media. And what you need to do is you really need to have consistency with posting. When I'm following somebody, I want to see them daily, weekly, 3 times a week. I really like daily, even if they're just talking, while I'm getting ready, like at those get ready with me's. I know they're not popular anymore, but they were for a time where people were getting ready. There'd be soothing music. I wanted those every day. And if I just found a person that I liked, I wanted it every single day to watch them get ready while I got ready. And it just kind of, for me, it had like a sense of community. And that's what you want, is you want to be posting almost every day. So when you have somebody that likes you, they're not like, oh, you're not here today, I'll find somebody else, and then they'll like that person more. So you want to be posting almost every day so they can have a routine of when I get home from work, I watch your video, because your video is always on at 5 p.m. or your video is always posted at 6 a.m. if it's a morning routine. So definitely just making sure that you keep up with posting every day. And Instagram famous is a real thing. People get $1 million sponsorships. They'd be all showing off shoes and purses and travel. And I'm just sitting here being like, okay, I can't do that, but good for you. I'm envious, but okay. So if you're looking for that for sponsorships and stuff, you gotta be posting a lot of content, and a lot of stuff. A lot of people also, I know I say a lot. People have big teams, so you want probably a team if you can afford it, somebody to edit the videos. Because if you're making a video every day, you probably don't want to be spending all your time editing it and picking out music and all that other stuff.
No, absolutely. Hashtag absolutely. You say you use the word a lot, but I use the word absolutely a lot. But Sasha, I want you to answer the same question, but then I'm going to pass it over to both of you with the last 8 minutes left. I want you two to interact with each other, but how has social media impacted your life as being a mindset coach? Because
Yes.
if I may, being social media, as Kat was saying, posting every single day, you do need to have a mindset. So that's actually a good question for you because you're a mindset coach. How does
Mhm.
that resonate?
Yes. So one thing I will 100% say is being disciplined on social media is 1,000% a must. I don't think you can actually see much growth or much success quickly or not quickly, regardless, if you're not being consistent and if you're not being disciplined in the things that you post. But also, as far as like the mindset, I would say it's easier to have a positive mindset about what you're posting if you actually love what you're posting. So like you said, you thoroughly love to watch Get Ready With Me's, because I'm pretty sure that person was like, I love to watch people who do Get Ready With Me's. I want to show someone else in this world like my perspective of a Get Ready With Me, and that perspective related to you, and you begin to watch that person. So I think like naturally kind of like picking a niche that you want to go into, but specifically a niche that feeds you like in all aspects, will definitely keep you more consistent. Now, as far as like having a mindset of going into it positively, I would definitely say like saying affirmations or like even a prayer before you even post a video or before you hit record, because naturally you want to be in like your most confident state. You want to have a mindset of everyone wants to watch me, rather than I'm only posting this for like 2 people to view. And even if that is your reality, like 2 or 3 people are viewing your video, you still post with the mindset that thousands of people are potentially watching. So, it's a little complicated, but ultimately I think with consistency and learning how to have a consistent mindset, especially with social media, then you should be like 1,000% squared away to go.
No, absolutely. Now, Kat, I'm going to pass the show over to you first. Now, with that being said, was there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything you want to promote, access? You can say anything you want, talk about anything you want. I have no cards on my slate, so this is your time.
Awesome. So, one of the movies that I actually did with my friend, and it came out a couple of years ago, but we had made it way years in advance, beforehand, and it took a long time to do editing, was Lost in Terror Dimension. And that was my first and probably only feature film that I will be producer, director. I wasn't editor, thankfully, but script writer, actor, where I just wore so many hats, and it was such a long video. I definitely had an amazing experience. So if you guys want to watch it. It's free on YouTube. Lost in Terror Dimension.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
What about you, Sasha? Was there anything you want to know? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, so I guess for me, as far as like promotion wise, I did just create 2 new ebooks. One of the ebook, well, not really an ebook, one of them is actually a self-guided workbook. So it's a Healing the Subconscious Mind self-guided workbook. And it's basically a workbook where it takes you through ages 0 all the way to your current age, and you go back through and kind of examine your childhood, get down to the root issues of some of the trauma or negative belief systems or patterns that you have developed, And then throughout the 8-week self-guided course, you kind of work your way through eliminating those self-negative beliefs and, thought processes, and kind of reforming and getting into a new pattern system of behavior so that you can start seeing the life that you love. So that book is called The Do-Over Workbook, and you can actually check it out on my Stand store, which is also attached to all of my social media handles. And you can find me MindSet Antidote at all of my social media handles. So Instagram, TikTok, everything.
I didn't mean to laugh at no disrespect. It's just when he said life started from zero, he just reminded me of just the parody on. Well, just because you guys like Family Guide, right?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah, you like Family Guide, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, not Family Guide. Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was one of them, but I think it was Simpsons, where it's like, well, tell us about yourself. Well, first I was a sperm, and then I was born. And so as soon as you mentioned your life from 30 to 0, that's the first thing that popped in my head. It was Homer Simpson going like this.
A beautiful illustration.
Well, like I said, here on the KeithAndrewNetWork, we like to have fun. But the key word is networking. Sasha, was there any questions you want to ask Kat? Kat, you will have any questions for Sasha? Because I bring you guys together, so you make a new friend, obviously, and you can network. So was there any questions you guys want to ask each other?
Yeah,
so
I would love
for
to
you,
know.
Kat. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead. I think maybe there's like a lag, when it's like the volume's being like gone across. I was just gonna ask you like how you got into it, because I know you said you were a communications major and psychology major in college. What made you want that? Like, what made you go there? I don't know if you declared before you entered college or how it worked with you, but what made you want to do psychology and communication?
Yeah, so originally I was a bio pre-med major. I started out in bio pre-med, and then through a course of like trying to figure out where I wanted to go in my life, I did like speech and language pathology, and then I ended up going with communications because that's where I felt the most called to. But in general, I think my original passion was probably with film and media and kind of like being on camera. So in general, going through like some traumatic experiences and having to kind of do some self-healing and self-discovery through the pandemic, I guess if you will, kind of got exposed to mindset coaching and got exposed to The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And it's an amazing book. And once I started kind of applying those principles that I learned in that book, it led me to mindset coaching in 2021. So
that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. So it's fairly
of
new then. You said
course.
2021. So 3 years?
Yeah, so for 3 years, I originally started out doing like communication between like couples and relationships and kind of like argument management, as well as like communication management, teaching different school skills and like different techniques between couples, and also them recognizing their triggers so that their spouse will know when they're being triggered and when they can kind of like, eliminate the conversation or move about the conversation in a different way. And then I kind of got into like manifestation and subconscious healing. And that's kind of where I've been pursuing for the last 2 years. So
that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I can tell you really love your work. You're super happy
yes.
about it. I can tell
Yes.
like you're glowing when you talk about it. So
thank you
that's
so
awesome.
much. Now, I definitely have some questions for you. Now, he said that you were an actor. As far as like acting, what made you kind of like go into acting and like theater? I know you said you have a degree in theater. So what's been your journey like with that?
I always loved comedy, so I really love to make people laugh. That was something where growing up, even if you had a bad day, you turn on SNL, or when I was a kid, I loved Mad TV with Bobby Lee. So I would watch that
I remember
every
that.
Saturday. I think I went to 11 to 12. So that was my little guilty pleasure. I was like, I'm going to watch Mad TV. Nobody else in my family thought it was funny, but I did. So I was like, yes, 24th Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee's dressing up as a girl. Bobby Lee's this, Bobby Lee's that. And I was just obsessed with him and his comedy style. And I was just like, I want to make people laugh the way that he made me laugh. So that kind of started it all. A giant crush on Bobby.
Who would have known that a crush would lead to your whole passion?
Right?
But wrapping up, Kat, I want to ask you real fast. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes? How do you feel now? and would you recommend it? Sasha already answered it on our previous interview, but I want to hear from you.
Well, I definitely like talking to people, and I'm really grateful to meet you, Keith, and also I might be saying your name wrong, Sasha.
Sasha, yep.
Sasha. I'm just bad with names, so it's not even you, it's just me. And like when the little pictures, I'm using my phone, it goes away. I'm like, okay, her name started with an S, but then I have gymnastics in my head where Simone Boyle, and now I'm saying her name wrong, and I'm like, wait, what? But I just love meeting people, and I'm so happy that you guys had me on the show, so I'm able to meet both of you.
No, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air, but wrapping up, this will be shared on all social medias, LinkedIn, Facebook. Let's say, again, was hurting myself. Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. The first 10 minutes will be available on Instagram and TikTok. Our goal is to reach 500 and more views. They will definitely do a part 2. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having both of you on the show, and I can't wait for a part 2. Until we meet again, I catch you later. Thank you, and have a good night.
You're on my show and supporting me. My message is all that